Chapter 1 in the textbook is, I think, an excellent start to this course. So as you read through it, I really hope that you pay attention to the information that it's giving you. And one of the reasons that I think it is so great is because the first half of this course, as you've read in the syllabus, is focusing on changing your thinking. So one quote that I took from chapter 1 says, "Learning to be a better writer is not just a matter of acquiring skills. To a significant extent, it involves learning new ways of thinking about what writing is and what it does." So that's what we're going to focus on the first half of this quarter. And as usual, this little lecture video is going to go over some of the major points, and I will try to help you think about things in a different way. But really, it's up to you to read what the textbook says, to read what the whole chapter says about this information. This is just kind of a supplement to that. So as you read, if you have any questions, let me know. But again, this is an excellent foundation, and if you don't understand what's going on in this chapter, you really need to work at understanding it before we continue on. So the first thing that the chapter talks about is writing as a tool of thought. And pretty much what it's saying is that if you have poor thinking that's demonstrated through good writing, that's not enough to convince your reader. You're only doing half of your job. And the opposite is true as well. If you have really good thinking that is portrayed very poorly in your writing, they're not going to be able to understand how good your thinking is because your writing is so poor. So the best way to approach the thinking and the writing aspects of an essay is to find the balance. So you want to prove that you've got good logic and good thinking skills and that you are critically thinking and all that stuff. But you also have to show that thinking through good writing. So you can't just have one and not the other. So that's why this course is pretty much broken down into changing your thinking and then changing and improving your writing. I also appreciate that the chapter talks about writing in college versus outside of college, and then academic writing. So hopefully you've already seen my video about academic writing standards and what those mean. If not, make sure you take a look at that. Because it's very different. Writing in college is very different from writing in high school. This is not the time to write the typical 5-paragraph essay, and it's just time to step up your game and to really work on how you word things and how you present things, working with your organization in your essays, and just trying to be more collegiate in how you do that. And one of the main differences between college writing and writing that is done outside of college is that writing in college is more about understanding and exploring something and trying to figure out what's going on within a text or whatever. I mean, whatever that text might be, whether it's writing a video, commercial, anything. Whereas in high school or in other courses or areas of life, writing seems to be about winning an argument, and that's not really the point of writing here. We want to write to explore and to find understanding for ourselves, not to convince someone. It's a lot less black and white. It's all that huge gray area that many people who argue don't see. And as we just talked about, your writing needs to reflect your thinking. It's not just about what somebody else says, it's about what you think and what you see happening within a text. The text also talks about what it means to be opinionated and to be argumentative. It's okay to have an opinion. It's less okay to be opinionated. I'm sure you all have opinionated and argumentative people in your life, and more than likely, those people are not a positive aspect of your life. You know what it means to be opinionated because somebody just inundates you with all of this information and they never let you, think a different way. So don't be opinionated and don't be argumentative. Don't be attacking your reader. Have perspective and allow opposition to occur, because it's never black and white, really. Even in an argument, you don't just have one side that's for and one side that's against. Rarely is an argument ever like that, at least a good argument. So really avoid being opinionated and argumentative. It's not how you want to be in life, nor is it how you want to be in your writing. Instead, be analytical, be thoughtful, dwell in confusion and be okay with that. Be okay with not knowing, one right answer. And then the claims of academic writing are more precise and less definitive, and that's perfectly okay. That means that there's not just one right answer. And it's more important to think and explore and analyze and see what's going on within a text as opposed to winning an argument about that text. Okay, so you're going to have to kind of adjust your thinking. We're not about, winning and saying that one thing is good and one thing is bad. It's just looking at something to see how it's working and to see how the pieces of it work together to create meaning. That's what we're going to focus on instead. And that moves us into what analysis and rhetoric are. Now, pretty much the focus of this entire course is analysis and rhetoric. So as we go through this week and next week, if you are not understanding what exactly analysis is, you've got to let me know. I'm going to try to word it differently. You need to reread the book. The book has a whole chapter on what analysis is, and then we move into interpretation. So there's a lot of information that goes into, what is analysis. It's not just a very, very simple answer that goes to that question. So if you're not understanding it, you've got to let me know, because if you don't understand analysis right now, it's going to be harder for you later in the quarter. Okay, so very basically, analysis is breaking apart a text, no matter what kind of text it is, whether it's an article or a book or a commercial or an online advertisement or a poem, anything, any text. And so you break apart those pieces and you look at them and you look at how those pieces work together to create a whole and what meaning you can find there. Okay, that's essentially what analysis is. Breaking something into pieces, investigating it, looking at it, exploring it, and then drawing it back together to see what the meaning is and how everything works together. Another way to put it is it's not what is said, that's description and summary, but it's how it is said. That's analysis and rhetoric. Okay, hopefully you can see the difference. I may repeat that several times throughout the quarter. Not what is said, but how it's said, word choice, language, organization, and a whole bunch of other techniques that any author can use in order to deliver the message. Okay. Also, analysis does not seek to judge something or to give a personal response to it or to evaluate it. That's why you don't want to be opinionated. That's why you're not going to stick yourself in your papers. That's why you're going to stay objective, stay out of something, keep your emotions to yourself, and simply analyze it. Okay, you're just going to find meaning in different perspectives, not just an answer. Now, rhetoric is the combination of techniques an author uses, or a speaker, whatever it is, an artist, what they do in order to be understood and to convince the reader that they should be listened to or looked at and understood. Okay, so you analyze for the rhetorical techniques that somebody is using within a given text. Also, very basically, it's just the language or the color or the perspective, a camera angle. It's those very, very small elements that you're going to be looking at to see how they create something. Okay, and again, language is very fundamental to all of this. So you're going to look mostly at written text. So you're going to see language and how that's laid out, how it's presented, what supports used, all of that. That's rhetoric. Okay, so you analyze different pieces of a text for the rhetorical techniques that are within it. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Think about it, work with it, read some more from the textbook, even do searches online that they may be able to word it even better for you. So if you don't understand that right now, do a little work, do a little homework, which leads into what the textbook says about the banking model of education. Pretty much, that's just saying that you're responsible for your learning and your education. And I stress that simply because this is an online course. I can't be in front of you. I can't, do all of that for you. So it's really up to you to understand what information the book is presenting and what information I give you on Angel. So it's up to you. If you want a little bit out of this course, do a little work. That's fine. That's up to you. It's your tuition money. But if you want a lot out of this course, I promise, the more you put into it, the more you will get out of it. So the more you struggle, the more frustrated you get, the more irritated you get, and the more you just cringe and work with this information and the assignments that I give you, the more you're going to get out of it. Okay, so long as you do it with a positive attitude. If you're going to be, pissed off all the time and, oh, I hate this. Yeah, that's not what I mean. But if you refuse to be confused, then you'll be learning a lot more. So that's why I wanted to stress that last part, is this course is really set up to be about you. So like, even for example, in the reflection activities, you can give me some canned answer. That's fine. I'll grade it based on whatever I see, and that's it. But if you really take the time to think and reflect and do what you should on any assignment in any course, you're going to get a lot more out of it. So again, if you don't understand what's going on in this chapter, let me know, because it is basic and it is fundamental to what we're going to be working with, especially the information on analysis and rhetoric. So from here, it's just going to get a lot more specific. We're going to really get into analysis and what it is, and hopefully you'll have fun with it, because analysis is pretty cool when you can walk down a street and look at billboards and signs and advertisements and understand what it is that the people are doing and really how they're trying to manipulate you. Rhetoric often has a really negative connotation, but that's why, because they want to be understood and they want you to think a certain way. So like I say, it's fun. And you'll start to analyze a lot more things around you. And that's good. That's what leads to thinking and intelligence. So I hope we can have some fun with that and fun with analysis. And if you need anything, just let me know.